Your narrative is an extremely narrow one.
You can say that my narrative is narrow, but your whole narrative is built off of 30 minutes that Tucker Carlson released of people being arrested. My narrative is built on the 30,000 hours of footage.
My narrative is built on what I saw there personally.
Your narrative is even weaker than mine because you have one view from on the ground. I have hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of footage that I've gone through and watched. So this guy's name is Gary. He is a failed MAGA politician from Iowa who I believe was produced in the same factory as Mike Lindell. And he wasn't lying. He was there on January 6th. He did participate in the riot at the Capitol. But that's not even the most interesting thing about Gary. I've seen him at maybe 5 or 6 different Trump rallies, and every single time he pulls up, the entire crowd starts to cheer.
The largest economy. Oh, there's there.
He's there he's here every rally, right? There's something very unique about him, and I'll dig into that later in the video, but first, let's watch this debate. Today is the 3rd anniversary of January 6th. What did you think about the event?
Well, I was there. Number one, he did not initiate a insurrection. I was 9 rows from him when he was speaking. It was very clear, go up there peacefully. Obviously, there was a couple knuckleheads in the group that decided to exceed those.
What do you think the people were there to do when they were trying to get into the Capitol on January 6th? What do you think the goal of those people was?
Well, the first line of the Declaration of the Independence is "We the people," and the people were making their voice known to those legislators that day.
So what was going on inside the Capitol, though, is that they were certifying the results of the election. Could you make the argument that the people trying to get into the Capitol, that group of agitators you talked about, were trying to stop that certification, trying to thwart that?
Well, amazingly enough, now that we have a new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and they're actually releasing the tapes of what went on in there, you got people walking peacefully around. I knew 2 groups of people that they were in the Capitol Rotunda praying for our country. Somehow that never made it to the media.
Yeah.
So, I think that there was people there with honest, good intentions, and that kind of got circumvented by the knuckleheads.
He calls them knuckleheads, like it was just a few brothers roughhousing outside of the Capitol and not people breaking in with mace, zip ties, pocket knives, chanting "Hang Mike Pence" and 1776, which means revolution. And if we want to be charitable, not every single person who was there was trying to overthrow the results of the election, but these people had been told for months that their country was being stolen from them, the election was rigged, every institution was against them, and that they need to fight to take their country back, which is why I ask him, what do you think these people were there to do on the exact date, at the exact time that Mike Pence is certifying the election results? Obviously, a good portion of them are trying to override that certification. You also have to remember that the January 6th committee, out of the 40,000 hours, they released about 80% of that. And Tucker Carlson released 30 minutes out of 40,000 hours. So I understand that the argument that the media cherry picks things, but Tucker Carlson is the media, and he also has a habit of cherry picking things.
Let me lay it down to you point blank straight. I was probably 50 feet from the front door of the Capitol. I did not go into the Capitol, but I can tell you I have photographic evidence of this, that the doors to the Capitol were opened from the inside.
Really?
The people were waved in while Capitol Police stood 20 feet away and did absolutely nothing.
I feel like there are videos of people breaking in, though, like massive amounts of people are breaking in.
Ask yourself this question. They're saying that there's 700 to 800 people in there.
Yeah.
Do they get in there through a broken window, or do they get in there through an open door?
So this video right here is of the east side of the Capitol on January 6th. That's a line of cops right there being broken through. And they're basically all storming. That's a lot of people, right? And then they're all storming, breaking through this line of cops. The cops are all down and out now. And then you see them start to flood the steps.
Two things you need to know right away.
Yeah.
Is they had the fence there to put up the Capitol weeks in advance. They never put it up.
Yeah.
Number 2, they had a shift change in the Capitol Guards that morning, and the people, the guys that were being let go, they said, we should probably stay. There's a lot of people down there.
Yeah.
They said, no, we got to go home. To a high level of degree, they allowed it to happen. They allowed it to happen.
In the video I just showed you, though, they were trying to hold their line. So it's the Capitol Police's fault that a few knuckleheads were trying to break in. But seriously, if it was anybody's fault, it was Donald Trump's, who incited this riot, who sat there watching it unfold on TV without doing anything until the very last minute, while people around him, all of his aides, were begging him to call this off. Now, Gary launched his failed bid for Congress in November of 2021, and the tagline on all of his social media accounts reads, "Gary, L, owner of the patriotic tractor. But what the hell is a patriotic tractor? Well, it's the reason why he is a local legend in Iowa. It's the reason why people cheer when he pulls up to these events. He has a tractor that is absolutely decked out in MAGA gear. Not only is it his pride and joy, but his entire Instagram feed is full of not his kids, but his patriotic tractor. He even brought the tractor to January 6th. I don't even know how he got it to DC, but ironically, Gary may have been the biggest knucklehead there that day.
I had dialogue with Capitol Police.
Well, you guys probably outnumbered them like 10-1 at that point, right?
No, where I was at, it was all peaceful. If you went on the side of the Capitol that was toward the Supreme Court building, they were singing "God Bless America." They were singing songs. It was like a family reunion.
On the other side of the Capitol, they were chanting "Hang Mike Pence," and Trump was tweeting out, "Pence is our last stand. Pence needs to stand up for this country." So can you see where I'm coming from when we see this massive group of people storming the Capitol on the day they're certifying the results?
So if you have...
Do you at least see where I'm coming from?
If you have 99.99% of the people doing the right thing, and all you want to do is dial down and focus on what the 0.0001% of the people did, that's not being righteous.
I just showed you a video of like 1,000 people storming through.
Okay,
so
there's 100. If there's 1 million people there, and you got a video showing 100 people doing something wrong.
Well, there weren't 1 million. Number one.
Oh yes, there were.
There were 120,000 at the Ellipse rally, and then over at the Capitol, it was like.
I could show you pictures, and it's closer to 1 million.
I want to go back to my point. Do you at least see where I'm coming from when you see these people storming the Capitol? And the thing is, even if it is 0.1% of people that are.
No, not 0.1%. 0.001%.
That's a way under exaggeration.
No!
This is over 100 people in this video alone. This is over 100.
Okay, so what if it's 200? What if it's 300? It's not 1,000.
Okay, so I'll give you
not 1,000.
I'll give you your point. So if it's 0.01%, if we can just settle on that number, if their goal is to get into the Capitol to override. Well, let me ask you. If their goal...
preventive measures, put the fence up, have the right number of police there.
The arguments he's making are terrible. Like, imagine if I brought a group of my friends to break into his house, and when we got caught, we were like, well, you should have taken preventative measures. You should have put the fence up. No wonder this guy couldn't even break 10% of the vote during his congressional run. But he also makes the mostly peaceful argument by claiming, oh, there were only 100 people there that were violent, which, firstly, I disprove in the video by showing him footage of January 6th. But secondly, I decided to concede that point because it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that the people who were there violently had the intention of interrupting our peaceful transfer of power, subverting the will of the American people. No matter how you slice it, it is anti-democratic, and it is all because Donald Trump sicked his supporters on the Capitol that day. Fun fact, I actually did an intro on Gary's tractor one time, but it was after a long shoot, so we scrapped it. We're at a Trump rally in Clive, Illinois. That's right? Or no, Iowa, fuck.
Take the Black Lives Matter rally, which did millions and millions of dollars of damage and dozens of people killed. Dozens and dozens of people killed.
The difference between BLM and January 6th to me is the people that were there on January 6th. I think we've established they were trying to get into the Capitol to stop the certification of the results. Mike Pence was certifying the results. They were trying to stop that, which is...
Do you know that there's an article called the Electoral Commission, and it says, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to pause. We're not going to count these. We're not going to tally these electoral votes. We're going to take a 10-day pause, and we're going to go back and make sure that these numbers are right.
But Donald Trump wasn't looking for a 10-day pause. Him and his lawyer, John Eastman, created this entirely unconstitutional legal theory that said that Mike Pence could unilaterally throw out the electoral slates in 7 different swing states. This had never been done before. It was absolutely unprecedented, and it was absolutely unconstitutional. But Donald Trump was banking on the chaos at the Capitol, creating a sort of delay so that this legal theory could go through. This is also why you can't compare January 6th to the BLM protests, because firstly, systemic racism is real, election fraud is not, but secondly, the BLM protesters were not going anywhere with the intention of stopping a peaceful transfer of power or subverting the will of the American people. This is apples and oranges. The date and the time of the insurrection on January 6th is instrumental to figuring out what their intention was. What was their intention when they showed up at the exact date and the exact time that Mike Pence was certifying the election results? I ask him that throughout the video, and that is a question you should ask MAGA if they say that they weren't trying to overthrow the election results. Thank you. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to MeidasTouch, and I'll see you next time.